I was watching the NWA Chi-Town Rumble card the other day and was wondering why it was only held 1 year. Was it a failed card? Or was the card created only to have the start of the Steamboat versus Flair matches? This raises a really interesting question, Jim. Unlike the WWF, who really stuck to a schedule, SummerSlam in August, WrestleMania either the end of March or early April, etc., the NWA things bounced around. Wrestle War 89 or Wrestle War 90 weren't in the same months. And then different events would pop up, whether it was the Chi-Town Rumble or the next year, Capital Combat. What was behind all this?
Whatever idea they had at the fucking time. Originally, I guess the first pay-per-view that Crockett did with full cable coverage through Turner Broadcasting, even before they bought the company, was 88 Bash, right? And that kind of set the precedent that, okay, from now on, you know, all of the Great American Bash would be a pay-per-view because they did it every year.
Right.
And then Starrcade 88 was their meager attempt at a Starrcade. That was the first one they moved off Thanksgiving. That was not the Iron Man tournament. Was next year when they really finished the Starrcade concept off. But Starrcade, they moved it to the day after Christmas but at least it was still Starrcade. But that was going to be the year-end big show. Well, then in '89, the only reason they did the Chi-Town Rumble was just because they were in Chicago and they wanted to tie it in somehow. They couldn't have a Chi-Town Rumble anywhere else but Chi-Town. So they kind of hemmed them in with that. And then the next one they did, I think they figured out, was Wrestle War. And they said, well, fuck, we could have this anywhere. So the next year, in the February one where they'd done the Chi-Town Rumble, they just made that Wrestle War. They were just blundering. There was no fucking thought out plan or plot whatsoever. They were just blundering through it. And if they liked something, they'd do it again somewhere else. That was the competition headed by the mighty Turner Broadcasting empire that was fighting Vince McMahon at the time. So there you go.
Who came up with the tagline Future Shock for Starrcade 89?
As a matter of fact, I can't say for sure, but that was at the time. I was obviously on the creative team, so I'm knocking my own shit here, but the way that I remember it was announced to me at least that, and I don't know that Flair even really had a goddamn say in it at that point, that the concept had already been that they were going to have a round robin tournament featuring all of their talent that they wanted to rely on for the future, the 4 top singles guys and the 4 top tag guys. And it was wrong on so many levels. Number one, Starrcade is supposed to be the big show of the year where you tell people here is the blow off of these angles that you've followed in these programs and these rivalries. The championship's going to be won and lost. Revenge is going to be gained. Retribution, whatever the fuck. Great matches that you tell people what they're getting instead of you're going to see these 4 guys wrestle 4 times against each other, and you're going to see those teams wrestle 4 times against each other. It just didn't translate. You couldn't advertise it in a tantalizing fashion like you could Night of the Skywalkers or the $1 Million Challenge, Flair versus Rhodes, or whatever the case. Secondly, as I brought up, as soon as I heard about it, who's going to do the fucking jobs? Because that was the night that Muta got beat 3 fucking times, and so did the Samoan SWAT team.
Yeah.
And then I suggested, and once again, I said, all right, can we take the fucking Samoans out and put the Midnight Express in? Because then at least we won't have problems with the finishes, because the Samoans didn't want to get beat 3 times in one night. And we won't have problems with the finishes because Midnight don't care. At least we'll do it the right way. No. And then as predicted, we had problems with the Road Warriors, and the Steiners had to beat the Road Warriors some way, I think. And there was an issue with that, and they did the old double bridge thing, and it was just bland as fuck. But some of those decisions at that point, like the flavor of the whole biggest pay-per-view supposedly of the year, were already made based on how they wanted to market the shit. And then they would give it to the creative team to fill in, which is ass backwards, because if they'd have said to Ric Flair, Kevin Sullivan, and myself in September, okay, start now and give us a Starrcade card that will blow the roof off the place, imagine what we could have done. Instead, about that same time, they said, here's what we're doing for Starrcade. It ain't going to fit any of the fucking television programming.
In one night, they gave away the Steiner's Road Warriors, Flair, Sting, and Muta losing to everyone.
Yes.
Well, we've heard enough this week, ladies and gentlemen.
Fucking rotten.